Hi, I'm Pam Cullen from 3 Mile Pond Girl Creates, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Augusta, Maine. And today I'd like to show you how I made this really cute fun fold card. Our Ingenuity Inkers team has a monthly meeting, and each time when we close the meeting, we do a mystery stamping card. And at our last meeting, this was the card that we put together, and it was it's a really fun fold. Literally a really fun fold to do, and it was so interesting to see how everybody takes the same measurements but different designer series paper and puts together some really great cards, and they're all different. So anyway, this is my card that I came up with, and I really it's kind of monochromatic, and it's I think it's really quite pretty with that designer series paper. And so this is not a difficult card, but I think it just is a really, it just has a lot of impact, I think. So let me show you the pieces that we're going to be using for the card, and then we're going to do a little scoring on this. So I'm going to bring my paper trimmer in and show you the scoring that we're going to do for this. So we're going to start out with I'm using Misty Moonlight cardstock, and this is cut at 7.5 by 5.5, and then we're going to score it at 3 1/4. And then we have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 for the inside of the card. We have a piece of designer series paper, that pretty designer series paper, and let me tell you what the name of that is. It is called the Harvest Meadow Designer Series paper, and it is so pretty. It has a lot of really subtle, really nice pieces that go with that. So this piece, again, is 5 1/4 by 3. And then we're going to use another piece of our base colored card, and this piece is 2 3/4. No, I'm sorry, this piece is 2 by 4. And let me make sure of that. Nope, this one's 3 1/2 by 3. Sorry about that. And don't worry about this. All these measurements will be in the description box below the video. So you don't have to worry about writing them down or me getting them correct right now. So then we're going to have another piece of the Misty Moonlight, that this one is 4 by 2. And then we have another piece of 4 by 2 that is to cut out. We're going to be using the stitched rectangle shapes, and we're going to be using this one right here out of those, and that's going to be our sentiment piece for that. And then the last piece we have is a little piece of for the inside of the card, which is 5 1/4 by 1/2 inch. So that's what we're going to use for that. And I also used, for the stamping parts of this, I used the Quiet Meadow stamp set, and we're going to use this nice floral piece right here. And then for the sentiment, because you need to have something that's going to fit in there, so you'd need something that either went this way or a small piece that went that way. So this hello right here from the Best Year stamp set fit in there really nicely, so I'm going to use that again. Okay, so let me bring in my paper trimmer, and we're going to go ahead and score the two pieces that we need to score for this card. So all right, so we're going to bring in our paper trimmer. And let me make sure you can see that in the camera. And then on the 7 1/2 side, we're going to go ahead. Now you want to make sure that when you're scoring that you're using this the light gray one, not this one, because this will cut your paper. So always make sure you're using the lighter piece of that. So then we're going to go ahead, and on the 7 1/2 side, we're going to score this piece at 3 1/4. So we're just going to take that and put a nice score line in there. And then we're going to go ahead and fold that piece like that. So this will be the front of our card. So then the only other scoring we need to do on this is we have that 3.5 by 3 piece, and we're going to go ahead and take that on the 3.5 side, and we're going to score that at 1/2 inch. So we're just going to put that right in here at the 1/2 inch mark. Whoops. Get it straight and put a score there. Okay, so there's our score mark there. So that's all the scoring that we need to do for this card. So let's see. We're going to put this together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, make sure we have a good crease in that. We're going to take this piece and we're just going to glue this to the front, this designer series paper to the front of our card. Make sure that your paper, if it's directional, that your piece is going in the right direction. And we're just going to line that up and set that on the front of our card. So then this other scored piece of paper that we have here, that 3.5 by 3 piece of paper, and this is kind of important, it's the important piece of this, is that we're going to glue this onto the inside because that's going to be our flap. Okay, so it's going to, let me show you here. So this is going to be that piece, part of that flap on the card. So before we put our inside piece, our white inside piece in, we want to glue this piece down, and you're just going to glue that little scored piece right here, and then we're going to line that up kind of in the center, right up against the edge there, straight. So see, then that's going to be our flap. And then when we put this, our inside piece in there, it's going to cover up that little folded piece that we just glued down. Again, this is a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of paper. So then we're just going to put that layer on top. And see, that's going to just kind of hide most of that. It's going to hide that piece that we glued. So see, this isn't a difficult card. It goes together very quickly. So then let's go ahead and do our stamping for the card. So we have, okay, so we have this piece, which we're going to put that floral piece on. And so I'm just going to bring in a scrap piece of paper because it's not, the whole piece doesn't fit on here. So we're going to bring that see that beautiful floral piece in right here. We're going to stamp that in our Misty Moonlight ink. And then we're just going to put most of that flower right here in the center of that piece. There we go. So there's that stamped piece, and now I realize, as I'm looking here, that the one last piece that I don't, whoops, I don't need to close that because we're going to stamp the hello with that, but I do need to cut a little piece of basic white in 2 3/4 and 2 3/4 to be the base for this. So I'm just going to bring my trimmer in again, and we're going to cut 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. There we go. So now we have our piece that's going to line up right here. So then we're going to have to put our hello on here. So let's get this piece put together first, because we're going to need to kind of line that up to see where we want to stamp our hello on that white piece of paper. So this is just going to center right in the middle of that. And then I like to stamp before I glue down, because if it's crooked or I'm not happy with how the stamp comes out, then you can turn your paper over or cut another piece. So I'm basically just going to put this like this, and then put this on the side here. And then just try to get a sense. Maybe we can leave that just like that and bring in our little hello stamp right here. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just like to test and make sure that I'm going to stamp that right there and hope. Well, I'm 100% happy with how that came out. So since we haven't glued it, I think I'm going to go ahead and try that again. So let's do the same thing. We're going to just line this piece up and see if we glued that. I mean, that stamping would have been okay, but since we have an opportunity, I'm going to try one more time. That down. There. I'm happy with that. Okay, so now we can glue our little this white piece on. Centered on this piece. Look how fast this card comes together. I mean, it's not a difficult card at all, but it's a really, I think it's really nice and really showy, and it's different, you know. Okay, so then we need to glue this piece down to this. And so we want to be really careful how we do that, because we don't want to put glue over here because it'll stick on our card. So we're going to kind of go, just make sure I'm doing that. Yep. So we're going to go a little bit from the hello. We're going to go over here and glue this piece. And that way we'll be sure that we only have glue on the part that we want. So see, then when you flip it over, there's no glue on this side of the page. It's all nicely isolated to where we want it to be. So look at that. Look how fast this card came together, but look how pretty that is. So that's, oh, forgot, we got one more little piece. We got that one little strip for the inside. And if you want to, you could put another sentiment stamp on. You could stamp something else on the inside of this white piece if you wanted to. I'm just going to leave it blank for now, but there certainly is plenty of room for another sentiment inside if you'd like to do that. So then I'm just going to put this, line this piece up over here on the left side of the paper. And then that just kind of brings the outside of your card to the inside a little bit. It just adds a nice little bit of color on the inside of the card. So there we go. Look at that. We've got this really beautiful card, and it didn't take any time at all to put that together. So, and you can use any type of designer series paper you want for this, any stamp set that would fit in this. You could use a Christmas paper and a Christmas stamp there, anything you want. It's you know, it's wide open to whatever you would like to do and any sentiment that you'd like to put on there. So there you are. There's my quick and easy fun fold card for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you liked the card. Thanks for stopping by my channel. And if you don't already have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And I'd also love to have you join my team. So right now there's a great join offer. If you you get $125 worth of product for $99, and you also get your choice of 12 different bundles, a free bundle with that. Plus, it's celebration time, so that offer for the bundles is going on through the end of September while we're having celebration. So that offer is good until the end of the month. So if you have questions or are wondering what it means to be on a team, my team, and you want to talk about that, I'd love to talk about that with you. And if you're watching this video right now and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you do that. And you can do that by hitting the subscribe button that's just below the video. And again, all of these measurements and the products that I used will be over on my blog at 3 Mile Pond Girl Creates. So thanks again for stopping by my channel. I hope you enjoyed this card. Take care.